Joining me now on set is California Democratic Congresswoman Judy Chu. Congressman, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So before we talk about the president's message on the economy, I want to ask you about some of what we're seeing in the polls, which is basically this dead heat between President Biden and the strong Republican frontrunner, former President Trump. The former president has now been indicted 3 times. Why do you think President Biden is tied with the thrice indicted former president?
I can't believe it either. However, I do say that once people learn what the benefits of Bidenomics are, that they will understand that this is transformative, that we will have so many more jobs. Already we have 13 million jobs, 800,000 of them being good-paying manufacturing jobs. But I think that they will see as the bridges are opened and as the new factories are opened, that this is something that will transform this economy for the better. But I do think people are tired after 3 years of COVID. They're a little weary right now.
But does it worry you when you look at those poll numbers that President Biden is running neck and neck with former President Trump, who's ensnared in all of these legal challenges?
I really wonder why Republicans would go for somebody who has been indicted 3 times, why they would
But these are general election poll numbers. I mean, this is, we're looking at the whole country.
Mm-hmm. Well, I just think that these voters have to really see that their future lies in this economy, in making sure that we have the benefits of the bipartisan infrastructure bill, the CHIPS and Science Act, and the Inflation Reduction Act. I think these will be transformative.
Your colleague, Congressman Dean Phillips, over the weekend signaled that he is considering a primary challenge to President Biden. I want to play a little bit of that and then get your reaction on the other side.
Democrats are telling me that they want not a coronation, but they want a competition. If we don't heed that call, shame on us. And the consequences, I believe, are going to be disastrous. So my call is to those who are well-positioned, well-prepared, of good character and competency, they know who they are, to jump in, because Democrats and the country need competition.
What do you make of that? Do you think Democrats need competition?
Well, I am for President Biden, and Dean Phillips is a wonderful colleague, but I think that maybe he should stay with Congress and do his job there.
If he asked you, has he asked you for your advice? And if not, what would you tell him if he did?
Well, I think that we must be unified, that it's been a challenge to make sure we get our message out. In fact, he is part of that messaging team in Congress, and I think that he should go to where his strength is.
Do you think he's undercutting President Biden?
I think any kind of other challenger is undercutting. Any kind of third-party challenge and any other kind of competitor is not to our benefit.
We've obviously also been tracking the developments surrounding the president's son, Hunter Biden, who had a plea deal that is now on hold over tax fraud charges, among other things. Do you worry that the president's son is becoming a political liability?
Well, Hunter Biden did plead guilty. He interacted with the law. That's very much unlike former President Trump, who has flaunted the law so many times. I think there is a huge contrast between Biden and Trump. And in fact, that Biden got a fair plea deal from the prosecutors. They are still working it out, of course.
Republicans say it was a slap on the wrist. They say that there are 2 systems of justice at play here.
Well, this is not what I understand. And in fact, the person who was in charge of it was a Trump appointee. So he made that negotiation happen.
Let me get your response to something Chuck asked your colleague Jamie Raskin over the weekend, if there should be a code of conduct for family members. Let me play that exchange and get your reaction on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, we know that there is a lot of, influence in Washington that's based on people's family connections. I have repeatedly asked Chairman Comer on the Oversight Committee for us to look at that in a serious and substantive and methodical and nonpartisan way. But he's instead decided to just pursue the Hunter Biden thing as a one-off, as a way to score cheap political points. He doesn't want to talk about Jared Kushner, who brought back $2 billion, not million, $2 billion from Saudi Arabia to a company he created the day after the Trump administration ended, when there was still blood all over the Capitol.
Do you worry about the what about defense? I mean, should Democrats be more forceful in just answering the question about Hunter Biden?
I think that Hunter Biden is a sideshow for the Republicans, and that they haven't even dealt with the allegations fairly. I also think that the American people don't really care about Hunter Biden. They do care about larger issues like where their next dollar is coming from.
Well, and the economy is the #1 issue for voters. And as we started this conversation talking about the fact that President Biden is going to be out here on the West Coast talking about what he has dubbed Bidenomics, a lot of Americans, though, are saying, we look at the numbers, we hear your argument that the economy is getting better, and yet we do not feel it in our pocketbooks. Gas here in California, over $5, for example. What do you say to those Americans who make that point that they don't feel the benefits of what the president is saying is an improving economy?
Well, we have 13 million more jobs. We have the strongest growth rate out of all the leading economies. We have a reduction in inflation. So for people who are looking at their pocketbook, they should find that things are less expensive than normal. So for everybody's everyday life, things will get better, I can guarantee you.
Does the president need a course correction when it comes to his own messaging on this issue? Do you think there are things that the president, the White House, should be doing, for example, that are not translating yet to the American people?
Well, I like the term Bidenomics. I think that it encapsulates what we are trying to do here. Sometimes it's hard to talk about all those laws and get people to really understand them. But Bidenomics is the opposite of Reaganomics. Reaganomics was all about trickle down. It was give the wealthy so much, blow a hole in the deficit, whereas Bidenomics is about building from the middle out and the bottom up. It's about helping the everyday people.
Congresswoman Judy Chu, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Great to be with you here in Los Angeles, and good to see you.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.